This episode of the Golf Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is presented by WynnBET. WynnBET is now live in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Tennessee, and Virginia. From boosted same-game parlays to live in-game odds, WynnBET has what you need to win. Sign up today to bet $100 and get $100 at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET. State restrictions do apply. All right, DJs, welcome back. We're going to do a little Amex recap, a little Farmers Insurance Open preview, and I don't know, a eulogy for betting outrights, maybe. What do you think, Steve? It's your boy Boston Capper with Steve, the god of golf himself. What's up, man?
It was a eulogy for a lot of stuff for me this weekend. Eulogy for the Giants.
Yes.
Eulogy for probably $20 million that Daniel Jones lost on his guaranteed money for his next contract. But you know what? I woke up today because I had guys in the mix, despite a lot of bullshit that we were talking about back and forth about how we knew that it was going to end. I had posted in the mix. I had Sung Jae in the mix. I did my new segment, FOMO Bet of the Week. Sam Burns, good ad. Thank you to everybody on Twitter apparently who mushed him and crowned him after Thursday. I really appreciate that, guys. Thank you. But you know what? I woke up today. I was like, you know what? Because I sat through 3 hours of bullshit last night seeing Eagles fans who've been losers their entire life, other than one night. And I saw them just high step in and just dunking on Giants fans. And you know what? I thought today maybe the universe was going to give me a solid. No, it did not. What happened, what we thought was going to happen, happened.
Yep.
It was a little closer than I thought it was going to be, but at the end of the day, 6-1 wins, Jon Rahm. And not awesome.
No, and I told myself, like, I woke up in a different mood. I was like, I'm not going to let myself get sucked in to think Taylor Montgomery has a fucking shot. I am not going to let myself get sucked in. Not going to do it. He started like 200 through 2. I was like, okay. Fucking Rahm left the door wide open on the front nine. Didn't do shit on those par fives. Yeah, it just. I mean, Montgomery missed Jaron from the fairway by 8 inches, and then he hits the fucking flagstick. And watching on the replay, it comes down. If it drops an inch closer, it doesn't kick out to like the 13 feet, and then the golf gods don't even give him the fucking birdie from 11 feet. And then, then he fucking shanks it in the goddamn water. But I should have just listened to myself. I was not even paid attention today because I knew it was going to happen. It was a fait accompli.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, look, like I'm bitching and despite the fact. Actually, I had a good betting week.
I had an okay betting week. I did fine.
5 of 8 positions hit, up 3 units. I'll take that. All plus money.
But, yeah, I think.
But the problem is like the fun of betting golf is the outrights.
Yeah,
like it's not legitimately how you're going to actually make money, but that's like the fun, exciting part of it. Is just you bet a guy out of 140 guys, and you're sweating it down to Sunday. And I've been saying this ever since the split in golf. I mean, you look at the winners going all the way back to the PGA. There's been two guys above 101 who won. Everything else, it's been basically sub 30.
JJ Spawn, who was the other one? Was it Luke?
No, after the PGA. So Mackenzie Hughes was exactly 100.
Oh, that's right.
And Adam Svensson was 100.
Svensson, that's right.
Other than that, though, it's been at best 50.
Yeah, I mean, I think Siwoo would. A lot of guys got him at like 45, and that was
one.
Yeah, that was the highest. That was the longest shot that's fucking hitting forever.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
and gross. Look, I'm gonna get my soapbox again because every time I'm on a show or somebody asks me, who's your long shot, who's your triple digit winner, and I understand that this event has bred long shot winners before, but I don't see a point of putting one on your card anymore. Just look at what's happening in golf. Look at the guys that are winning. And sure, you know what? If there is a long shot winner and you're not on it, first of all, you're probably pretty bad at picking long shots. Anyway, you probably wouldn't have landed on the guy. And second of all, it happens so infrequently now, and it's going to keep happening infrequently. As long as, listen, we make fun of guys who are on live, they're still probably going to be, if we put them in Amex right now, Abe Answer's odds are probably like 40-1. Jason Kokrak's odds probably like 60-1. Yeah. Paul Casey's probably 50-1. And a lot of these guys that we bet this week, your Cam Davises or your Steve Tagalas,
Fucking-
or like all those guys are probably pushed down to like 75, 80 to 1. Where now, and then some of the guys like 75 are now 100, like where those guys that were long shots before are now in the middle there.
Yeah,
like
it's gross.
It's just, I don't see a point in doing it anymore. Like if you're putting a triple digit on your card, like I think you're just wasting money at this point. I'm not saying a long shot will never win, but like you have like a 7% chance, like that tournament of all tournaments the entire year, that's when it's going to do it. I don't see a point in doing it.
No, I mean, I agree with you. I take your long shots on some fucking top 20s, top 40s, your first round leaders, things like that. Where guys can't come out of nowhere and play one good fucking round. You know what I mean? Like, take a look at some matchups and things like that. I did okay with I had done a whole lot of round matchups. I got burned on Friday. I did okay yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, this tournament was a joke too. Like the hard course, stadium course. I mean, it played what? Like,
it was not hard.
Minus 2.5 this week.
Yeah, it was not hard. Like, the hard course was not hard.
Like this thing shouldn't exist anymore. It shouldn't. I don't understand why it's still a pro-am format. I don't understand why we need 3 courses. I don't understand why they have to go to La Quinta. Why?
Listen, I think you said it. Like, let's just get rid of the fucking La Quinta. And like, if it's gonna be a pro-am, fine. And what's funny is I heard I don't know, one of the fucking guys on PGA radio this morning when I was driving around getting everything together before the competition. They were talking about why pro-ams are important, like for the AT&T and things like that. And it's because it's all the sponsors, and this is a way to ingratiate themselves to the sponsors. I'm like, fine, that's fine. But how many of these fucking things do we need? You know what I mean? Like, how many things?
All right. I mean, I think also, even with like the AT&T, the pro-am has to end on Saturday.
Yeah, dude. What? Like, I even thought, I was like, it just looks so weird on a Sunday. And like, I thought about it on Saturday. There was an amateur guy, and Rahm was talking to him after his shot. I was like, Rahm wouldn't be talking to fucking Cam Davis. Like, he feels like he has to talk to this fucking this corporate chill, fucking whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, man, how distracting is it for some of these other guys that have to shoot the shit with some schlub like me on a fucking tee box when there's millions of dollars on it? It's fucking stupid.
Yeah. So
it's fucking dumb.
So yeah, look, like, I mean, betting wise is fine. I don't like this trend in golf that we're seeing. It takes a lot of fun out of it. I don't want it to be like early 2000s. That was before I was betting, but that's when basically 5 guys had a shot to win every single week. And
that's it this week.
Well, we'll get to that. I put together a little list.
Okay.
I shared a little bit with you. I went a little deeper. I'm gonna hammer home, I think, how shallow and crappy this.
Dude, the back end. I was looking at this earlier. Holy shit! The fucking middle, the back end of this field is fucking trash.
Yeah. Why don't we take a break first, and then I'm done talking about Amex. Congrats, Jon Rahm. Congrats to anybody who's single bullet 6-1. Looks like you might try and go double or nothing at 5-1 next week, Tori. And yeah, we'll take a break, and then we'll start talking about maybe my least favorite tournament of the year.
Yeah, I know you hate this course.
I hate this.
All right. Well, listen, WynnBET is the official online sports book of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. WynnBET is active in a bunch of states, and there's tons of ways to win, including live betting and same game parlays. The NFL playoffs are here. We got conference championship next weekend. We got great promos, odds, and payouts are happening right now at WynnBET. If you're ready to play, sign up today to receive a special offer. Bet $100 and get $100. Limited to state availability. And of course, if you hit the biggest long shot parlay of the week, you get $1,000 free credit. There's so much to choose from. All you got to do is head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET so they know that we sent you. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET. Offer is subject to change. Terms and conditions are over at WynnBET.com. Must be 21 and older and present in the state where WynnBET playthrough is available. If you or somebody you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700.
All right. Well, that's not what Torrey Pines.
Well, let me ask. So I actually want to ask you this. So obviously, Rahm is fucking unconscious right now, right? You look at what he's done around the world in the last couple months, just absolutely unconscious. I mean, this is his favorite course, right? This is his favorite course on fucking PGA Tour. I don't know if I can just do a single bullet Rahm at fucking 5-1.
Well, I was just going to ask you that. I mean, do you want to just admit to the audience what you told me this weekend?
What? Oh, that I might be done betting outrights, period?
You're done betting outrights.
Yeah. I mean, I say that shit, but you know me.
You do.
Do it. Yeah, it's like
Well, that was
sure
going to be my
like
suggestion.
but I like
Just
yeah. I mean, I'm gonna
bet
look
the
at the
single
board,
just bet the single bullet.
but it's 100. It's so stupid. This is why I fucking hate this shit. Fucking 5 and 6 to 1 in a 143 man field. Yeah, it's his favorite. He's playing lights out, but I was stubborn with Scotty last year too. I don't fucking know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I feel like this is like just a crisis of conscience at this point. Like with fucking golf outright betting. Like, like there's no fucking right answer. I mean, they're just gonna keep losing fucking outrights, and the top of the board is gonna fucking get me. Or I'll bet the top of the board, and somebody at 12 to 1 will hit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, double zero and roulette just keeps hitting over.
for real,
taking all the black and red.
That's right. It's absolutely.
I mean,
absolutely.
look, like, listen, you have one less day this week.
Oh God, fuck! I forgot about that. Jeez.
Well, that's why we're doing 2 tomorrow night.
Oh, well, I forgot about that. I forgot about that too. Sweet.
All right. Well, yeah. So this is a Wednesday start. Goes Wednesday through Saturday, which was pretty successful last year.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going head to head with the NFL. You don't have to worry about that. It was an exciting finish last year. They got, I think, pretty lucky with how that ended up playing out. But yeah, listen. So that's a positive to this thing. I like that. The top of the field this week is really good. So listen, you're gonna be looking at DraftKings, pricing. You're looking at the top of the board. Like, all right, great. Got Rahm, got Finau, JT, Will Zalatoris. You got Xander. Did you see the albatross?
Dude, I saw the highlight. That guy was fucking unconscious today. Did he end up 10 or 11 under today?
10 under. Yeah, so you lost by 2. Yeah, that was literally the perfect shot. Dropped right like 2 feet, like past the water, and just rolled right in. It was excellent. You got Morikawa, you got Sung Jae, you got Maxwell and Hideki. That's top of the list.
Yep.
And then I was like, all right, because I started looking at the rest of the field. I'm like, this is not great.
It's not great. Not
because
great,
so this is not an elevated event. And also there's a really good field over in Dubai. Like Rory's going to play it. Lowry, all the Euro Tour guys are over there. I think Hovland's even playing that. So that's split. And then you got, obviously, the live guys aren't playing, who a lot of live guys used to play this thing, like DJ, Brooks, Reed, Bryson. So I'm like, all right, why don't I try and name like the next, like the next tier down? You got Taylor Montgomery, your buddy, shanked one in the water in contention. You got Jason Day, who I think a lot of people are going to bet next week.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. You got Sahith Theegala, you got Matt McNeely, Kurt Kitayama, Keegan Davis Riley, Cam Davis, Justin Rose, Ricky Siwoo, Taylor Pendrith. So that's 12 more.
Yeah.
And okay, not uninspiring. And then I'm like, why don't I try and name like the next tier? So here's the names I think of the next tier. Gary Woodland, everybody's favorite. Washed up Gary. He's in that list. You got Thomas Dietrich.
I like Dietrich.
All right, you got Dietrich there. You got Hayden Buckley, who people bet almost got an outright on Sony. You got Davis Thompson, Patrick Rogers, Luke List, last year's winner, Adam Hadwin, Ben Griffin. And this is like, we're basically just hitting now. That's the end of the top 30 of this field. So and there's still 110 players left. It's a bad field. It's a top heavy field. Odds are going to be garbage for most of these top 20 players. And even more so because the first 10 are really, 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 really good players.
Yeah.
Listen, under 31's going to win this week.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. I don't know what to tell anybody. That's what's going to happen. Like your decisions are going to come down to who basically, all right, if you want to stretch it out to 50 to 1, fine, do that. Just figure out who in that range is going to be on the betting card. And then the rest is positionals.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
Matchups, man. I'm going to have to really start grinding on the matchups, but I feel like I don't want to change my process on it just because I think I'm just going to have to take more shots. I don't want to change my process because it's doing well. I feel I just need to add more fucking matchups to
Listen, I think you just got to accept that either add more matchups or just accept that this is just how it's going to be. You're going to grind out profits with matchups and positionals, and the outrights is going to be, well, did I hit the 15 to 1 that I put at the top of my card this week?
So gross.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about Torrey Pines.
It's a great course. Looks good on TV.
Well, why don't I ask you?
Okay.
Because everybody knows my thoughts.
Yeah.
On this, it's a golf course. Yeah, so what do you actually like about this place?
I don't. I just do it to bite at you and troll at you. Like I don't really give a shit. Like it doesn't look good on TV.
No.
I like the Haddock course because that I guess just because it's not a birdie fest. I always confuse them. The South course is the Haddock course.
Yeah, so the South course is the hardest course, or the harder course. Only PJ Nash of all golf
but it's
courses,
boring as fuck.
Well, yeah, all golf courses with at least 5 tournaments since 2015. It's the second hardest, non-major venue, by the way. Second hardest in the PG Tour.
But it's boring.
Only behind the Honda Classic.
It's so boring. Like I don't know.
Well, there's no penalty areas except for there's a water hazard on 9, and if you hit into a canyon, which takes some effort. It's just a lot of bogeys. Like you hit in the rough, you miss a green, you can't get up and down. Maybe a double if you screw up in the bunker, but like you don't see these like big car crashes, like 8s, 9s,
right?
Something like that. Like at the Honda, you see that,
Love
you
it.
know, or like even this week with poor SH Kim taking 4 times out of abomination bunker.
My wife happened to walk into the office when that was going on, and she's like, "Is he still hitting it out of there?" And she was like watching in awe, and she was like, "I would just throw the ball up." I was like, "You can't do that, babe. It's a tournament." She's like, "Then I just fucking quit." I was like, I get it, babe.
Oh, he might have been triggered by just the patchy Bermuda.
Oh, that sod! My
what the
God,
hell is going on with that?
So you see it down here, like with like model homes and shit like that, or like new homes that get put in, like they don't do the sod right. So as when I was a firefighter, my side job was always like landscape and irrigation, rough blue collar fucking death and Savannah shit. And what they do is they don't. You figure a grounds crew would know how to do this, but there's no way they're pulling the roots down before they throw the sod to get it to catch easier. They're probably just chucking it down there. Half of it's fucking dead. You always see a half dead lawns down here. The company's gonna come back out and put it down. I was like, if you just fucking scraped it with your fucking fingers before you threw it down, it would fucking 90% better chance of holding.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it looked like I went to like Raymour and Flanagan or like a carpet store. I just put down like brown carpet, just patches. It looked horrible. Anyways, so Torrey Pines, William Bell design, opened in 1957.
Hey BK, BK said what's up. Sorry,
hey, BK. So opened in 1957 on the site of a U.S. Open or a U.S. Army base. I think it was an old airfield. And then 2000, the USGA had an appetite for municipal golf courses. Giving it back to the people, grow the game. #. So they took 2 municipals in Bethpage Black and Torrey Pines, and they gave it to a fellow named Reese Jones to, do a creative redesign and renovation of it. And his bright ideas was more bunkers and farther back tee boxes. He did that on both golf courses, and he did it. Listen, like Bethpage still has some interesting holes and characters.
I was going to say Bethpage is it's not.
I mean, there were some good bones to work with. This thing though, like, so I put a flyover of the PGA Tour, and it just makes me just more mad at this thing. Like who would actually watch this video and want to pay $500 round, ticket trip out to San Diego and then pay $278 to play this thing? I don't know. So it's a narrow golf course.
Jesus Christ, it's almost much as fucking Sawgrass.
Yeah, it's $278 for non-residents to play.
How much is it for residents? Probably super cheap, right?
It is. I don't know.
Because I know Bowser can play fucking TPC Summerlin out there in Vegas. He can play it for like fucking like $40.
Yeah. And honestly, I probably would rather play Summerlin in this place. So
yeah, fuck yeah.
All right. So, anyways, among the changes that Reese Jones did, basically reposition a lot of greens next to canyons, narrow the fairways, grew up the rough, push back some tee boxes. Now it plays up to about 7,800 yards. It's going to play about 77.35 this year. I'll get to that a little later because there's been some weather issues that I don't know. Maybe they might want to reconsider that yardage, given how much rain they've gotten. So I'll give you a reminder about what they've done recently. Is before the U.S. Open, basically they want to try and dress guys just bomb and gouging this place. So they brought in Reese Jones again. They repositioned some fairway bunkers, moved them out a little bit. I show a couple pictures about hole number 1, how they ended up pushing out a bunker to be about 310 the landing zone. They also pushed the bunkers in to actually make it more narrow somehow. Instead of before, there used to be like a patch of rough and then bunkers. Now the fairways kind of bleed in a little bit to the bunkers. And they wanted, quote unquote, accuracy to matter. And through 2 years and 2 US Opens or 2 Farmers Insurance Opens hasn't really made a whole lot of difference.
No.
Driving accuracy rates are down and bombers are still prevailing. You did see Patrick Reed here, 2 years ago.
But he's like world class. Like he's a scumbag, but his short game was always fucking ridiculous.
Right. I mean, I'll get to that later. Like, there's a couple ways you can win here. So, growing the rough more and making it narrower did not dissuade anybody. Guys still were pulling driver over and over. And you look at last year's leaderboard, Luke List wins, Zalatoris in second, Jason Day and Jon Rahm in third. Tringali also in third. He's added some distance. Rose can actually hit it out there pretty good. Neiman finished in top 10. Taylor Montgomery is T11. So he might be a pretty popular play considering how he was this year.
I was going to ask you that, right? So I know course history matters here, not like crazy matters, but it's fucking still matters. So how many rounds do we have of Montgomery putting on West Coast POA or this type of POA?
3 here.
Right. This could be a question for tomorrow. I could, yeah.
So the greens at Silverado are bent POA. They're mostly California POA. That's really about it, though. Okay. There's probably some Corn Ferry events that I don't know about. That probably
I'll ask Jeff. I'll see what he knows. He's a psycho with that fucking Corn Ferry shit.
The Corn Ferry stuff.
Yeah. Oh my god. Fucking maniac.
It's even past my purview. So that's some of the changes they made to that, but it didn't really change the approach of how you want to play this thing. Bombers, as they'll get to, have a big edge here. Right. As far as agronomy goes, so a lot of people are going to talk about how it's Kikuyu grass. You're going to hear that a lot. Well, this time of year, though, it's overseeded. The Kikuyu, just like Bermuda, it's dormant. So it's rye overseed fairways, rye overseed, rough. Typically, the rough, this is another interesting nugget about this tournament. So typically, it's 3 inches in length because of all the rain they've gotten over the last couple months or so, and they're going to get rain again, I think, this week. The rough is going to be about 3.5 inches, a little thicker. What it usually is, just because it's had a lot of moisture. And actually, the superintendent said, it's going to play real long and real tough. Should be fun. And I think his definition of fun on the golf course is
different than what the PGA guys want.
Yeah, exactly. So, so basically it's going to be a 7,700-yard golf course that is really soft, really long, with really thick rough. If you take a guy who's short off the tee, he better have the best short game in the world and be an elite putter on POA. Your Patrick Reed or Brandt Snedeker.
Oh, Snedeker.
Yeah, he won twice here.
Yeah, I forgot. I feel like every year when we talk about this, I'm like, oh, yeah, Snedeker.
Well, Snedeker's one was crazy. I remember actually one of my first bets, I think this is in 2016. That's when I started betting on golf. So Snedeker got in the clubhouse at 4 under, and he was 3 back of everybody. But it was horrible weather, and they pushed into Monday, and the weather was worse on Monday. And so I bet Snedeker at 6-1 overnight. And then everybody just came right back to him, and I ended up winning.
Nice.
I'm like, hey, maybe I'm good at this thing. And that's actually how I kind of started gambling golf. So that's the South course. I'll get to a little more nuggets about it in a little bit. But then there's the North course, which is basically a shorter version of the South course. Now, they did a renovation to it a couple of years ago by the late Tom Weiskopf, who also did TPC Scottsdale and TPC Craig Ranch. They enlarged the greens a little bit. They removed some fairway bunkers, moved a lot of trees. And they also flipped the nines. So they wanted the back 9 to play more along the coast. It's an okay routing, but it's kind of has the same pitfalls as the South course, really narrow, bunkers in the driving zones, thick rough. Basically, if you've seen one hole at Torrey Pines, you've seen them all. It's kind of just the same. All right, I have a narrow corridor with 2 bunkers on both sides. I'm going to hit into a multi-tier green, guarded both sides by a bunker.
Yeah.
It's the same over and over and over. Oh, there's the ocean. That's cool. I'm going to play another long par 4. Okay. All right. So, yeah, that's Torrey Pines.
Yep. Pretty much it. But the other course is super easy.
So it's
It's
easier.
It's easy.
It's easier. You can still screw it up, but yes, it's only 7,200 yards. Yeah, it's pretty easy. So, I mean, the secret's out as far as like showdowns or anything. Guys, just Thursday and Friday, you're just gonna stack everybody at North. Yeah. I remember a couple of years ago, I think the Patrick Reed year, there was a definitive wave split where you wanted guys on Thursday playing the North course because the weather was absolute shit on Friday that you couldn't score on North, and then Reed ended up winning that tournament. So watch for the weather. I think it's going to be cold next week. I didn't see a whole lot of wind when I looked at it last week, but that could change.
It's fucking sunny.
You'll probably have a fog delay on Thursday. That's really going to annoy us. Yeah. So that's Torrey Pines in a nutshell. And then the greens, they'll run about 12 and a half as a meter, which is a little, it's about PG Tour average. That's kind of quick for Poa, especially with how some of these greens are. If you're on the wrong level, and we tough to putt on them, I'll get to that in a little bit. Actually, I'll get to that right now. So, okay. So betting strategies for Torrey Pines. I just mentioned the yardage. First of all, some of the differences between the North and the South course. South course plays about 77-65 yards this year. North course 72-58. Similar setups, thick rough, narrow fairways. Just one's a lot shorter than the other. The greens are also different. The greens are Poana on the South course, but they're bent grass on the North. So unfortunately, there's no shot link data over there. You're not really going to know how they do it, but that is different. It's going to be a different green type. So maybe something to keep in mind if you're doing showdown or round matchups. If you see a guy who struggles on bent grass, when they play the North, might be something to consider. Torrey Pines has the longest par 4s and par 5s as far as yardage of any golf course that's hosted at least 5 tournaments since 2015. The only non-major venue that's longer was actually Vedanta Vallarta for the Mexico Open last year, which was also won by Jon Rahm, who is awesome here. Maybe it's not really a whole big coincidence why he won both of them. South course, like we talked about, is one of the toughest golf courses in the PGA Tour. Only PGA National plays tougher. Of all tournaments, released 5 golfers released 5 tournaments there since 2015. Plays on average about 1.1 over par. Last year played pretty easy. I think it was softer and there wasn't really a whole lot of wind, but still played over par. Honestly, with the PGA Tour, with how good these guys are, it's very rare to get to a tournament that or a golf course that, unless it's really affected by wind, plays over par. We saw that a little bit this year. Sometimes the stadium course with not really great weather can play over par. It played -2.5. So yeah, it's gonna be a tough test for these guys, just on its face, just because it's long, it's narrow. It's the greens are really difficult to putt on, which I'll get to in a little bit. Let's talk about off the tee though. So it ranks as the 9th toughest off the tee. Even though everything's right out in front of you, it's very defined. It's okay. I gotta basically hit it towards this side of the fairway. I gotta make sure I'm not in the bunker. These fairway bunkers too, like they're like puzzle pieces. You can get some really awkward spots, especially if it's a really long distance. It's also kind of like a weird type of sand as well. I don't think these guys are used to hitting out of this type of sand. It's, but it's, it's right in front of you. It's narrow. It's thick, rough. On that, the driving accuracy rate's well below PGA Tour average. The average is about 60%. The last year has been 58% because of all the changes, narrowing it, the guys like, all right, I'm just going to hit it as hard as I can. Just hope to get a good lie. The last 2 years, the driving accuracy rate has been down even more. Only Quail Hollow, Riviera, and Silverado have lower driving accuracy rates than Torrey Pines. You got to hit driver. You can't avoid it. Otherwise, you're going to have 220 into every par 4.
Right.
Or if you're Ryan Armour, you're going to have 275 into par 4. But even though this is interesting, that even though that there's really thick rough at Torrey Pines, there isn't much of a penalty to actually hitting in the rough versus hitting from the fairway. Like Data Golf, I like this stat. They actually compare your strokes gained per approach shots from hitting from the fairway versus the rough. And listen, there is a natural penalty to doing it, but it's about PGA Tour average as far as like the penalty for being in the rough and being in the fairway. It's actually about the same as like Waialae, which is strange. So, and I was thinking about why, and I'm like, well, it's pretty, even if you're in the fairway, still pretty long approach shots. These are smaller greens on the South Course. They're smaller greens, and they're quadrant, they have quadrants to them. So if you're on the wrong level, it's hard to like, maybe putt up, and get up and down. There's a lot of 3 putts here, or, because they're small, it's longer approach shots. There's probably a good chance you're going to miss the green anyway. And if you're in the rough, you're probably going to miss the green. So you're going to end up being in the same place pretty much as a guy who might be in the fairway in the rough, trying to get up and down. So, and you see a lot of that on this golf course. And then the last thing I want to talk about is the putting, as far as like, just stats before we get into like skill sets and approach shot stuff. The South Course are the toughest. They are the toughest greens to putt on from under 5 feet and 5 to 15 feet on the PGA Tour. And that's because of the Poa annua. This West Coast Poa annua, it's bumpier, it's inconsistent. It's not like a lot of the Poa annua you see on the East Coast. Runs a little smoother. There's a lot of luck involved in putting on this Poa annua. If you hit the wrong bud, even if it's a perfect putt, it's going to go offline. It's going to be, and that's why you see like a guy like Luke List. He won here last year.
Fucking amazing, by the way.
Or Will Zalatoris last year. Like, I mean, he's got his fair share of troubles on some certain putting greens.
He looked okay. So let's take a look. Did he fade over the last 2 days?
He was like 13 under or so. He was hanging around like the top like 40-ish, I think.
Wasn't I getting blabbed by people who were like, such a stupid take that he can't make that many birdies? I'm like, yeah, well, he fucking can't. Like,
I have no idea. Were you getting heat online from that?
I don't know. Maybe
did you just make that up?
I might have just made it up. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Let's say look at the relative skill set chart. I put that in my my article. Listen, no surprise. A high correlation of success and guys who are really long off the tee. Just based on how I described it. Like anytime we have come to a long, narrow, thick, rough golf course, it seems like the results are already like predetermined. Like if you hit it a mile, if you hit it really long, you have an edge on everybody because especially like with greens like this, they're smaller and they got quadrants. Kirshner, I'm going to get to it, buddy. Okay. I have an odds projection. We'll do it at the end. Okay. I've already talked about it with my co-host here. All right. Just wait. Just let me get through my spiel. Okay.
I didn't even notice that shit. I was watching the game. Brian.
Anyways, there's a huge edge to be long. As far as like approach shots, like listen, like there's not a huge correlation. There's some guys who've been really good with their irons, really bad. Guys have been really good around the green, guys have been not. It seems like if you're really long and you're like pretty good at like maybe your irons or putting or irons and around the green, we've seen that combination work really well here. Work for Luke List, you work for a guy like Jon Rahm is really good all around game. Or we've seen Brandt Snedeker, Patrick Reed, who, if it's a year that like basically everyone's missing fairways, a lot of people are missing greens, they're just better at getting up and down than anybody else on the PGA Tour. That's how they end up winning this thing. So I think that's kind of what I'm looking for as far as like either outright or positionals is if you hit it a mile, if you're like Wyndham Clark, probably gonna be interested, or a Patrick Rogers, or if you're somebody who is just really good at getting up and down. Because listen, there's a lot of really bad.
We just talked about not fucking betting fucking long shots. What is Wyndham Clark?
No, positionals. Like
like yeah.
70-1.
So gross.
It's bad. Or if I see a guy who's just like a Steven Yeager, I think, like a guy who just gets up and down, can't hit a fairway if his life depended on it. Shitty with his irons. Like, but he can save strokes that way. That might be something to do with like a top 40 bet, but like otherwise for an outright, it's probably gonna be a longer hitter. And then the last thing, approach shot proximities. 68% of your approach shots come from over 150. It's pretty even split between 150, 200, 200 plus. I'm probably going to break up both buckets and just take a look. If you're deficient, maybe for 150, 200, but you're really good at 200 plus, or you're kind of balanced, I'm going to look at that. But yeah, don't look at anything under 150. It's not really going to matter a whole lot. It's probably going to matter a little more on the North Course, but that's not the type of profile a guy that usually wins here. It's usually a guy who's.
Dude, Jaeger sucks here.
Whatever. I mentioned a guy who it just gets up and down. Okay. Sorry. So I don't know his exact strokes gain number, buddy. Do you want to chime in with anything here, or can I get to Brian Kirshner's question?
You can get to Brian Kirshner's question.
All right, let's go with odds projection. Okay. I think, all right, let's ask you first, since I've done a lot of talking. Yeah. What's Rahm going to be, you think?
5-1.
I agree. I think 5-1. Who's next after him?
Read me the fucking stuff.
So you're top of the board. You got Finau, JT, Zalatoris, Xander.
JT will be 9 or 10. Finau will be.
I think Finau's going to be second.
So I think JT just because of name recognition.
Okay. All right. So JT 12-1.
And then I think 10 or 12-1. I think then Finau 12 or 14.
Yeah.
Who else we got? We got
Zalatoris, Xander. I think Xander's going to be 15-1 based on how
Xander will be between 14 and 18.
I think Zalatoris 18, probably because he still, he got second last year, but he didn't play all that great this week.
Yeah, but the books know all us golf fucking rejects.
What's he like? Was he like 30-1 a century though?
Yeah, but nobody had seen him yet.
Okay, what was he this week?
Yeah,
he was like 20.
Yeah,
I think he's gonna be hanging around 18-20.
That's fine.
All right, I think Morikawa's gonna be 20, just because I think guys are gonna be scared of the fact that he's so short off the tee.
That's fair.
I would say Homa is probably like 22-1.
Yeah, that's not a bad one either.
Hideki's like 28-1.
So Kershaw said he'll come if Zal's fucking 18. I think Zal will be 18.
I think he's gonna be like 16.
You can only put so many guys underneath fucking 20.
Yeah, when a guy like Rahm is 5-1, like
yeah.
I think it'd be 18. Maybe Hideki pushing closer to 30. I think Montgomery's gonna be 30.
Yeah, I'll bet him again this week because I'm a fucking loser.
Bet Day's he'll end up at 30.
Can you imagine betting fucking Jason Day at 30 to fucking 1?
Listen, he had a decent fall. He's got a great Tour history. I think people are going to bet him. I think the wrong people are going to be on Jason Day this week.
So stupid. Be the worst.
Let's see. I think Heath will probably be 50. Matt McNeely, maybe he'll be around 45, 50. Egan will probably be 45-1.
Bet that loser too. No question about it.
Yeah. Cam Davis, even though he sucked last week, he'll probably be 55-1 again.
I'm done with that fucking Australian prick. I'm done.
He was awful this week. Everybody
fucking terrible.
I mean, now I know why he's only been in contention like 4 times in 2 years.
Yeah, because he blows.
Guys empty calories.
Exactly. You look at him on the stat sheet, and that's it. I should have listened to you when you said he's only been. I heard you say it multiple times to me last week. You were trying to give me a red flag.
Well, I mean, I even bet it too, and then I realized the world bet him. I was like, oh, well, this is gonna work out awful.
But that influences me too. I gotta stay the fuck off of Twitter Monday morning. Is what I gotta.
Yeah, I gotta send you that sheet with how many times these guys been in contention for the last 2 years, because it'll help you. And then, all right, I mean, I bet like a Hayden Buckley will be like a 70 because he almost won Sony. He's got some pop too. Will Gordon, he might be like 80-1, 90-1, I think. Why
is John? Listen, I know John. So John was just down here like congratulating guys and shit. There's still 6 seconds left, man. Shit can happen. Don't be down. Don't be coming down from your box.
Do the Niners have the ball?
No, they don't get the ball yet. So why are you fucking down here congratulating people?
I don't know.
I don't like it. There's 6 seconds left.
So Cowboys have the ball.
6 seconds left. I think they're like a 35-40 of their own. Maybe.
Okay. All right. Well, I got Niners minus 3.5.
Yeah. So listen.
It's been a bad NFL week for your boy.
It's actually been it's been okay for me.
All right.
I waste way too much money on first down fucking touchdowns.
Mm-hmm. Is that like people betting over 100-1 in golf? That's the equivalent for football for you, just wasting money.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
All right. I got nothing else. I think this is a very clearly defined week, and I don't really know what else to say. I don't really. It's probably gonna be someone under 30-1, like we talked about at the top of the show.
Absolutely going to be somebody under 30.
Like I look at this field, like good luck. Like there is a universe where somebody in that third tier could win, but like no. Like if I miss the boat on like somebody 150 to win this league, I don't give a shit.
No, I don't care. I don't care. Like I don't care anymore. Like the same reason I laid off the first touchdown bet tonight. Like I wanted to play Schultz, but if I miss out on a 6-1 fucking Schultz, I don't give a shit. Like who cares? Oh Jesus fucking Christ! That dude went up. That was awesome.
All
right, that dude got stuck.
All right. You got anything else?
Right. Nah, man, that's it. So condensed schedule this week, like you said. I forgot about it until you said it.
Yeah, back to back tomorrow, buddy. Yeah,
tomorrow's betting tomorrow.
By the way, so tomorrow's betting show, it's gonna be similar to what we did last year. It's gonna be different. It's gonna be us. Well, I think it's gonna be a lot easier than last year. Last year we went through like the outright board. We're like, all right, I could see myself betting these guys.
Yeah.
I gotta feel it's gonna be more probably speculation about like who we're betting positionals. Like that's gonna be more like
I'll be like, here are guys here are guys I'm tagging in matchups or fading and things like that.
Yeah, like I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I think I could see myself going Finau, Homa, and that's the outright card.
Like I don't hate that. I don't hate that. I could see myself going just Xander Finau. See if I can catch that Xander wave.
Okay, you could do that.
I gotta see what the numbers are gonna be. And my numbers are gonna be out 2 hours before the show, and they're gonna be shittier than everybody else's because I fucking live in Florida. And God forbid you can smoke fucking bath salts and fucking eat people's faces, but you can't fucking lay down a fucking legal bet.
How long ago was that?
Get your shit.
That's a good reference, by the way.
Thanks, buddy.
People thought the zombie apocalypse was upon us.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they got shot 3 times and Jesse kept coming.
Yeah, man.
Literal zombie.
Dude, I saw a video the other night. It was like this older white cat too, and he was like swinging a club at a cop. Cop shot him like fucking 5 times. Like it wasn't the greatest grouping, right? But he still hit him in the fucking torso 5 times before, and he kept coming at him, and he finally went down. But he was like an older, like looked like a I don't know, looked like a fucking banker. You know what I mean? Like it didn't look like. And I was like, what the fuck? Everybody's like, what the hell was he on? And I showed my wife, and she was like horrified. I was like, "Oh yeah, sorry, you're not used to seeing dead bodies. Like, my bad. It doesn't bother me a bit, but yeah, my bad. Sorry. Okay. Have fun sleeping, baby. Love you.
Well, that's a great way to end the show.
Yeah, man. Whatever.
There you go. All right, I got nothing else.
I don't think anybody listens to the. I don't think anybody listens to the end anyway. We should actually make some sort of game out of it and see if people listen to the end.
Probably should. Yeah, I told Jeff Nagel a couple weeks ago. I'm like, you should start. We're gonna start burying Easter eggs because I know you don't listen to the end. So. Yeah.
Well, so I wonder what I sound like on 1.5 speed, because that's how everybody listens to podcasts, right? I wonder if people are able to listen to me speak at 1.5 speed.
So I've been told I was a fast talker, so I probably go super fast.
Yeah,
I'm 1.5. Yeah. You might have to like adjust it for me, 1.5 for you, and like 3/4 for me to understand it.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's end
the
show.
Mush chiming in with a huge NFL weekend.
Congratulations, Mush.
Love you, buddy. All right. Other than that, we'll see you guys on back-to-back shows tomorrow live. The pods will both be out late Monday night or early Tuesday morning, depending on what side of the coast you're on. Other than that, whatever. Decent week, but bullshit that a fucking 6-1 hit again. And whatever. Just fucking break them books this week. We got it. Let's go.